Hey, Skull Nation. What's good, Vikings faithful? Buckle up, because we're diving into the hottest topic in Minnesota right now. The quarterback situation for our beloved Vikings in 2025. With the NFL draft creeping closer and free agency still buzzing, there's a ton of speculation about who's going to be under center for us next season. Are we sticking with J.J. McCarthy, grabbing a veteran, or pulling a wild card? Let's break it all down with the latest scoop, straight from the heart of Vikings country. Ready? Let's roll. Teaser. Picture this. It's April 28th. The NFL draft is in the books, and the Vikings drop a bombshell signing that changes everything. Who's it gonna be? A familiar face, a grizzled vet, or a total curveball? Stick around, because we're unpacking all the juicy details, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Hook! From whispers about Kirk Cousins sneaking back to Minnesota to Carson Wentz's surprising connections with the team, the Vikings QB puzzle is heating up. Let's dive into the latest updates, figure out what's real, and talk about what it all means for our purple and gold. Skull, let's go. The Minnesota Vikings are all in on J.J. McCarthy as their QB1 for 2025. That's the word on the street, and it's got us pumped. Drafted 10th overall in 2024, McCarthy was supposed to be the future, but a knee injury sidelined him for his entire rookie year. Now, with a clean bill of health, the team's ready to see what this kid can do. Running back Aaron Jones recently hyped him up on the herd, saying McCarthy's got the squad buzzing with confidence. Can you feel the excitement, Vikings fans? But here's the kicker. The Vikings are playing it smart with their roster moves, and April 28th is a date to circle in purple ink. Why? That's when free agent signings no longer mess with compensatory draft picks for 2026. Word is Minnesota's eyeing at least 2 comp picks, maybe 3 if Trent Sherfield balls out in Denver. So, they're holding off on any big QB splashes until after the draft to maximize their haul. What do you think? Genius move or risky gamble? This strategy screams long-term vision from GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. After losing Sam Darnold to a $100 million deal with Seattle, the Vikings are banking on McCarthy to lead, but they're not naive. They know a rookie QB needs a safety net, and that's where the veteran talk comes in. Who's going to be the guy mentoring JJ or stepping in if things get dicey? Let's dig into the options, because this is where it gets spicy. All right, let's talk Carson Wentz. Yep, that Carson Wentz. The former Eagles star who hoisted a Super Bowl ring in 2017 is still out there in free agency. And guess what? The Vikings have some serious ties to him. Quarterbacks coach Josh McCown backed him up in Philly, so they know exactly what makes Wentz tick. That kind of familiarity could be gold for a team breaking in a young QB like McCarthy. But here's the question. Do you trust Wentz to step up if needed? Wentz's resume is a mixed bag. He was a Pro Bowler in his prime, slinging it with the best of them, but his last few years, bouncing from Indy to Washington to backing up Mahomes in Kansas City, haven't exactly screamed franchise savior. Still, as a backup or mentor, he could bring some veteran swagger to Minnesota. Imagine him guiding McCarthy through the playbook while sharing stories from that Super Bowl run. Would that get you hyped, Skull Nation? The Vikings aren't rushing to sign anyone just yet, though. Waiting until after April 28th keeps their draft pick stash safe. And with only 4 picks in this year's draft, every comp pick counts. So, is Wentz the guy to bridge the gap? Or are we barking up the wrong tree? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you're feeling about this one. Another name floating around is Ryan Tannehill, and this one's got some intriguing vibes. Tannehill shares an agent with J.J. McCarthy, which means there's already a line of communication open. Back in 2019, he was the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year with the Titans, tossing for over 4,000 yards and earning a Pro Bowl nod. But last year, he was chilling on the couch and signed. So what's the deal? Can he still ball? The big question with Tannehill is whether he's hungry to return. At 36, does he want to uproot his life, move to Minnesota, and fight for a backup gig? The Vikings would need to sell him on the vision. A competitive team, a young QB to mentor, and a shot at the playoffs. Minnesota went 14-3 last season. Pretty tempting, right? But if Tannehill's heart isn't in it, this could fizzle fast. What do you think? Would Tannehill be a good fit? Here's where it gets tricky. Tannehill hasn't played a full season since 2022, and injuries have nagged him lately. Still, his experience could steady the ship if McCarthy stumbles early. The Vikings are weighing their options carefully, knowing one wrong move could cost them those precious comp picks. So, Tannehill or bust. Let's keep peeling back the layers. Okay, now let's address the elephant in the room. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but there's chatter about our old pal Kirk coming back to Minnesota as a backup. After 6 seasons with the Vikings, 3 Pro Bowls and countless clutch throws, Cousins knows this team like the back of his hand. He started for Atlanta last year but got benched for Michael Penix Jr. late in the season. Could Minnesota be his next stop? Imagine Kirk walking back into US Bank Stadium, playbook already memorized, joking with teammates about his old driveway shoveling neighbor. It's a cozy fit on paper. He knows the offense, the city, even the schools for his kids. But here's the catch. How would the locker room react to a former starter taking a back seat to McCarthy? That's a big question mark, and I'm curious what you fans think about it. The Vikings aren't banking on Cousins returning, but it's not impossible. If he can't find a starting gig elsewhere, Minnesota's familiarity could pull him back. Waiting until after the draft makes sense here, too. Signing him early might mess with those comp picks tied to his departure. So, Kirk as QB2? Wild, right? Hit the comments and tell me if you're here for this reunion. Let's zoom out for a sec and look at the bigger picture. The Vikings' QB strategy isn't just about who's throwing passes. It's about building a roster that can compete now and later. That 14-3 record last year wasn't a fluke. This team's got Super Bowl dreams. But with only 4 draft picks in 2025, Round 1, Number 24, Round 3, Number 97, Round 5, Number 139, Round 6, Number 187. They're playing chess, not checkers. Every move counts. That's why the comp pick game is so huge. Losing Darnold, Cam Robinson, and maybe even Daniel Jones in free agency could net Minnesota extra picks in 2026. Like a third-rounder for Darnold's megadeal. Signing a vet like Wentz or Tannehill before April 28th risks screwing that up, so the Vikings are staying patient. Smart, right? But it's got me wondering, are we confident enough in McCarthy to roll with just him and a rookie backup? The draft itself could shake things up, too. Most mocks have the Vikings targeting defense or offensive line early. Think cornerback or center, since McCarthy's locked in as QB1. But what if they trade down to grab more picks? That could give them ammo to snag a developmental QB late. What's your dream draft move, Skull Nation? Let's hear it. Now let's talk about what didn't happen. Early in free agency, there was all this noise about Aaron Rodgers maybe joining the Vikings. Spoiler alert, it's not happening. NFL media reported Minnesota's done chasing the 4-time MVP, focusing squarely on McCarthy instead. Gotta say, I'm kinda relieved. Rodgers is a legend, but his off-field drama? No thanks. You feeling the same? The Rodgers rumors got spicy for a minute, with talks of him chatting with the team at the NFL owners' meetings. Even Aaron Jones shut that down, saying he didn't touch base with his old Packers teammate during the frenzy. The Vikings dodged a bullet here, keeping the spotlight on their young gun. But it makes you wonder, what would have happened if Rodgers had signed? Chaos or glory? With Rodgers out, the veteran pool's shrinking. Drew Lock's back with Seattle, and Joe Flacco's name popped up, but he's not a lock either. That leaves Wentz, Tannehill, and maybe a post-draft surprise. The Vikings are playing their cards close to the chest, and I'm dying to see what's next. Any dark horse QBs you're rooting for? Drop them below. Let's get real about J.J. McCarthy for a second. This kid's got the keys to the kingdom, and the Vikings are building everything around him. Coach Kevin O'Connell's been hyping him up, saying he's been looped in on every QB convo this offseason. That's huge. Shows the team trusts him to handle the pressure. But a guy who missed his whole rookie year? That's a big leap of faith. McCarthy's got the tools. A rocket arm, sneaky mobility, and a knack for winning, going 27-1 as a starter at Michigan. Teammates like Jones are already sold, raving about his leadership. But the NFL's a different beast, and he'll face defenses gunning for him in Week 1. Can he handle the heat, or will he need a vet to bail him out early? What's your confidence level in JJ right now? The Vikings aren't blind to the risks. That's why they're keeping their options open, whether it's Wentz, Tannehill, or someone else. McCarthy's the centerpiece, but a solid backup could be the difference between a playoff run and a rough season. Let's talk about it. What's the one thing JJ needs to nail to win us over? Hit the comments. So what about the draft itself? April 24th to 26th in Green Bay is going to be massive, and the Vikings are walking in with a plan. With just 4 picks, they can't afford to miss. Most experts think they'll bolster the defense. Brian Flores' unit needs a corner or safety after losing Cameron Bynum and Stephon Gilmore. A guy like Florida State's Azariah Thomas could be a day 2 steal. Sound good to you? Offensively, the line's a priority, too. Center Garrett Bradbury's solid, but depth is thin, and protecting McCarthy is non-negotiable. Some mocks have them grabbing North Dakota State's Gray Zabel late in round 1 if they trade back. Plus, there's buzz about a wide receiver to pair with Justin Jefferson, especially if Jordan Addison's status is shaky. Who's your dream pick for the Vikings? The draft could also tip the QB scales. If Minnesota falls in love with a late-round passer, they might pounce, but the focus seems to be on supporting McCarthy, not replacing him. Waiting until after the draft to sign a vet keeps all doors open. What's the one position you want us to nail in the draft? Let's hear your take. As we inch closer to the draft, the Vikings' QB picture is starting to clear up, but there's still plenty of mystery. April 28th feels like the magic date when we'll get answers. Will it be Wentz with his Eagles pedigree and McCown connection? Tannehill with his Pro Bowl grit and McCarthy ties? Or maybe, just maybe, a Cousins homecoming that'd make every Vikings fan do a double take? What's your gut telling you? One thing's for sure. This team's built to win now. With Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave beefing up the D-line and Jordan Mason joining Aaron Jones in the backfield, Minnesota's got the pieces for a deep playoff push. McCarthy's the X-factor, and whoever backs him up needs to fit the vibe, low drama, high impact. Who's the perfect QB2 for this squad in your eyes? The waiting game's tough, but it's all part of the plan. Adofo-Mensah and O'Connell are cooking something special, and I'm hyped to see it unfold. Skull Nation, what's the one QB move that'd make you lose your mind, in a good way? Share it below because we're all in this together. Alright, let's wrap this up, Vikings fam. The quarterback saga's got us on the edge of our seats, but one thing's crystal clear. The Minnesota Vikings are ready to make some noise in 2025. Whether it's JJ McCarthy lighting it up, a vet like Wentz or Tannehill holding it down, or a draft day twist we didn't see coming, this team's got our hearts racing. Skull forever, right? I want to hear from you. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who's QB2? What's our draft steal? And how far are we going this season? Smash that like button if you're hyped for the purple and gold. Subscribe for more Vikings news every week, and share this with your fellow fans. Let's pack the comments with Skull chants. Thanks for hanging with me, Vikings Nation. Let's keep the faith, keep the energy, and get ready for a wild ride. Until next time, Skull Vikings.